I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for InvestmentPitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews with Daniel Tal, Network Steward of ICHI. Daniel, welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure to have ICHI back once again.
Thanks, Ashton. Excited to be here and talk to you guys a little bit more about ICHI.
Definitely. A lot has happened in cryptocurrency and with ICHI overall since we last spoke almost 6 months ago, which is like years in cryptocurrency. So let's first of all get the viewers up to speed on what is ICHI for those who haven't seen our first interview, and what are the main focuses that you're bringing into the DeFi and the blockchain space?
Yeah, great question. So ICHI's been around for a while now in DeFi terms for sure. And, you know, we consider ourselves of course, a DAO first and foremost, working as a community to build out DeFi and specifically decentralized financial infrastructure for different types of protocols in the DeFi space. Originally, and I think last time we spoke, we deep dove a little bit into our stable assets, or what we call our branded dollars, which are stable assets for different communities backed by their token and USDC. And since then, we've kind of built out a little bit of our quote unquote arsenal of products that we use to kind of help build out the DAO infrastructure for different communities and protocols. And basically the way we see it is the DeFi space has three main pillars that we're looking to tackle. One is the stable coin or stable asset pillar, the second being the exchange pillar, and the third being the lending pillar. And since we last spoke, outside of some of the big partnerships we've kind of signed and connected with DAO to DAO, which we'll dive a little bit deeper into, I'm sure, in a bit. We have very much focused on, within these three pillars, continuing to build out our branded dollars in the stablecoin pillar, building out our angel vaults, which is our new product in the exchange pillar, and creating our new lending pool on Rari, which has done extremely well. I think it's the third largest pool after about 6 weeks of being around. So wow. on Rari Capital. So yeah, that's where we are today.
Very incredible. Great updates. Daniel, thanks for sharing that to kick us off. And yeah, I did see a lot of news about these angel vaults, which sounds new to me. I haven't heard of angel vaults in DeFi. I know there's a lot of angels getting involved in investing in DeFi and large institutions as well. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on what exactly is the purpose of the angel vaults and how does it benefit these organizations?
Yeah, definitely. Vault is probably one of the most overused words in the DeFi space when it comes to different kinds of protocols and things being built. But on our end, the angel vaults are really a Uniswap v3 liquidity management protocol, specifically for both protocols themselves for DeFi projects, but also for DeFi users. And the idea behind them is that we're really trying to align the goals and vision of DeFi protocols and DeFi users, general liquidity providers. So what we do is we enable users to have general DeFi retail users to have the experience that they had using Uniswap v2. So, depositing directly to a liquidity pool and kind of forgetting about that liquidity, not having to manage their position to earn fees, with the power of concentrated liquidity, right? Which Uniswap v3 provides, being able to concentrate your liquidity in between certain price ticks and earning more for the liquidity you're providing. Now, on the other side, for the projects themselves, we are actually building these angel vaults as a way to provide price protection for them in a downward turning market, and specifically decorrelating their token price from the price of Ethereum when the market goes kind of bearish, as it's been recently with some of the unfortunate news. And and allowing it to continue to be correlated directly with ETH when the price of the assets start to rise.
Great backstory on that. That bringing what I got out of that, what you said was, aligning the incentives of DeFi users with the protocols. And I feel, although DeFi is early on, it's already been a couple of years that it's been being worked on. I'm curious, from your perspective, being deep in this, trying to align these incentives, how big of an issue is this? I feel like the incentives should be aligned already, if not needing all these other solutions to do this. Is this a huge problem, and are there other people working on it that it's such a big of a problem, or do you really have a stranglehold on the solution?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, and it kind of leads to where we started when we decided to build out some of these angel vaults and the protocol in general at the beginning. When Uniswap V3 launched, I think when we looked across all these different AMMs and decentralized exchanges, what you saw is the way different types of projects were able to incentivize liquidity was through providing these yield farming strategies and providing rewards for users to deposit their liquidity in two assets, basically a 50-50 mix of usually their native token and ETH or USDC or some other base asset into these liquidity pools. And then it allowed for you to gain back that LP and deposit it to earn rewards, usually offsetting some type of impermanent loss, but also allowing you to earn on the fact that you're locking in your liquidity. And really, this kind of led to a few problems. One, these sort of mercenaries, right, who would deposit their liquidity just to earn these high fees and rewards and then pull that liquidity out. And the other piece is that when you are doing this as a liquidity provider, you're providing a native asset and some other base asset to liquidity pools. What you're essentially doing is creating both buy and sell pressure by creating this market for these two assets on the native token. So you see communities incentivizing different liquidity providers to provide both buy and sell pressure. And we wanted to solve those issues. What we wanted to do was say, hey, why as a community are you paying out these liquidity providers in your token to provide both buy and sell pressure on your token? That could be both positive and negative. It could actually harm you. What these angel vaults do instead is allow people to only put buy side pressure on their asset, so that if there is any type of sell pressure in the market, it stops that token's price from going down. And that's the idea behind these angel vaults. You deposit one type of asset directly into the vault, and that's not your native asset. It's the one paired with it. And what it does is it creates this large wall of buyers of last resort, so that if people start to dump your token in general into try to sell it, on Uniswap V3, there's this large buy wall ready to stop the price from dropping.
Going full circle back to the angel vaults. I appreciate all that information. I think it's very valuable for people that don't really understand exactly how the liquidity pools work and how decentralized exchanges are able to build order books through the people and not through a centralized order book management market makers as they do in the old days and in centralized exchanges. So thank you for clarifying all of that. I appreciate that, Daniel, for everybody.
Sure.
And you also mentioned, out of the three pillars, there is the lending as well. And it seems more and more people, especially when the market's at its top and in the bull market, are looking to borrow capital and get extra capital to invest in more digital assets as they rise. And with that lending aspect, you're now partnering with Rari, is that right? Can you talk about what's going on there with ICHI and how that integrates into the other pillars?
Yeah, definitely. So we built out a Rari Fuse pool about 6 weeks ago. And really the idea behind it is, of course, with borrowing and lending, making everything more capital efficient for DeFi users, and specifically DeFi users who are interested and are using ICHI's protocol and ICHI's tokens. And what we're able to do was build out, with the help of the Rari team, this lending and borrowing pool on Rari, and within 6 weeks, we're actually able to grow it into the third largest pool across all of Rari's different lending and borrowing pools. But yeah, the key there was really, we wanted to give people who were holding ICHI, our governance token, XICHI, the state governance token as well, and people who are depositing into our angel vaults, the ability to take those tokens, use them as collateral, and borrow against them. And one of the most compelling aspects of this is, remember, because of these angel vaults, I know I always go back to them, but they've been so incredible in the last over the last 90 days that it's been awesome to watch. Since we really launched the Angel Vault for ICHI, the ICHI price has been stable and actually has risen, I think, almost 4x at this point, through this kind of recent bear market. But the key there is, because of that Angel Vault protecting the price of ICHI, we see users feeling really comfortable depositing or supplying ICHI and XICHI and all these ICHI-backed tokens into Rari and using it as collateral because of the lower risk for liquidity. And that's, I think, what's really fueled our ability to grow this lending and borrowing platform, to propelled it to being number 3 in TVL on there.
Definitely great to hear. And yes, back to the angel vaults, allowing people to get collateral to lend. I think it's obviously important to know when what tokens you're going to put up for collateral, and what that collateral amount is, and because, as you mentioned there, with the angel vaults keeping the ICHI price lifted, if you are taking a loan with collateral and it's an asset, if it's a smaller cap coin that doesn't have an angel vault in some other project, and the price of that dips, you're going to be getting a margin call, or you're going to be losing your loan and losing your capital. So I think that's good to understand, definitely the risks and rewards when you're moving into different assets like that, especially when you're margining or lending. Are there different types of risks that aren't what you would see in a traditional lending platform because of the way that the ICHI network is set up?
So I think risks are always there, taking into account the fact that there are always, smart contract risks, things of that nature, in this kind of space. That's always up there. I think the cool thing about Rari is the ability for anyone to come and create a borrowing and lending pool and be able to play with those levers, right, of the different types of supply caps, close factors, whatever that may be. That's what's super interesting about Rari, and really being able to incentivize each of those supply or borrow assets accordingly. So that's what's interesting there. It does open, like anything, lending pools are open to different types of liquidity risk, as well as smart contract risk around these different protocols. And from an ICHI perspective, we take security extremely seriously. We have multiple bounty programs with Unify and Hats Finance. We've been audited multiple times by QuantStamp, Certic, and a few others. And we actually are now partnering with a few insurance protocols, or I would say protection protocols, for things from smart contract protection with InsureAce, to even DPEG insurance, or DPEG protection, really, with Risk Harbor around our branded dollars. So we're really, really focused on security in all angles, whether it's smart contract, DPEG, and we're looking at ensuring that our users feel comfortable holding ICHI and understanding that we're doing our best to minimize risks across all these different platforms.
Definitely. And thank you for covering that. Good to always mention it, although, not something to be scared of, just something to be aware of as you it's your capital, especially in DeFi. You're controlling your own keys, and you control where those funds go and who you lend it out to and what risks are associated with that. And great to hear about all of the audits and security measures that ICHI is taking. Now, there's so many great things that we've already spoken about that, in these 3 pillars that ICHI is working on. Is there anything else that the viewers have to look forward to as 2022 keeps going, ICHI continues to grow, that maybe is coming down the pipeline in the coming months?
Yeah, great question. We are always heads down working at ICHI. I think you can see that from our past. We had a fair launch, didn't do too much announcing and marketing at first, just focused solely on building the best product for DeFi protocols, as well as our users. We are definitely very focused on this multi-chain world. We believe it's a multi-chain world. And as of today, our native smart contracts are only on mainnet. But in very soon, we are looking to move over to a new blockchain, look for an announcement in the coming week. So we will be on an L2 soon, which is super exciting, lowering fees, being able to have a lot less friction when it comes to gas fees and minting and creating different types of assets. And we are super focused on both the multi-chain aspect as well as building out a lot of our current infrastructure. So again, tackling those 3 different pillars being stable assets, lending, and exchanges across these different across the multi-chain world. So that's where we're focused on. We're going to continue to build and get excited for it.
Definitely. It's very exciting. For the viewers that want to follow along with that update that's coming out and everything ICHI, I'm excited to hear about, what is this layer 2 solution? Where is the best place to follow along for those updates and to get involved and speak with the ICHI community?
Yeah, great question. You can follow us on Twitter at ICHI Farm. Follow us in our Discord and in our Telegram. You will be able to find those links directly in our Twitter. And ICHI.org for all the information you need on ICHI, as well as our app, which you can get through there. So that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate it. I will leave those links in the description box below. All the best with this update coming for ICHI and all the updates. And let's follow up in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Ashton. It was a great time.